Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you. Chapter 4, Angel to the Rescue. Chris closed his eyes. He'd tried not to think about crashing down on the hard cement floor below. Dear God, help me not to kill myself, Chris prayed silently, and if I don't die, I'll really try to trust my parents more. Suddenly, he heard a voice. Well, well, looks like you got yourself into a little trouble. Opening one eye, Chris saw the tall, thin form of a young man standing below him. Are you my angel? Chris exclaimed. No, laughed the man, but it looks like you could use one about now. I sure could, Chris said. Can you help me get down? I think I can figure out something, he said. Just do what I say. I will, gasped Chris as he struggled to hang on. Within minutes, the young man had Chris down from the rusty stairs and safely on the cement floor. What were you doing up there? He asked. I wanted to go to the top and look around, said Chris. I wanted to see what it was like for the people who used to take care of this lighthouse. I see, said the man. I imagine there's a great view from up there, but probably not worth risking your life over. Didn't you notice how rickety and old the stairs were? Chris looked down at his feet. I guess I did, but I wanted to try going up them anyway, he mumbled. I thought they'd hold me, since I'm a kid. Old buildings can be dangerous, said the young man. That's what my dad said, muttered Chris, but I guess I didn't trust what he said. I thought he was just trying to wreck my fun. Sounds like your dad wants to make sure you don't get hurt, the man said. You would be smart to trust what he tells you. But enough scolding. I'm glad I happened to come into the lighthouse. So am I, exclaimed Chris. Thanks so much, mister. Hey, what's your name? The man held out his hand for a handshake. Perkins. John Perkins. What's yours? Chris shook it. Chris Vargas. I'm here on vacation with my family. Sounds like fun, said John. Well, I'm going to look around the outside of the lighthouse a bit. Enjoy your vacation and be careful what you climb. I will, Chris laughed. Thanks again, Mr. Perkins. Maybe I'll see you again. Maybe you will, John said as Chris turned and headed down the stairs out of the lighthouse. In the distance, he saw Maria and Yo-Yo watching something in the water between the two jetties. Chris hurried over. Look, giggled Yo-Yo. There's another one. Another what? Asked Chris. Seals, said Maria. We've been watching them ride the waves. They are so cute. Maria turned to look at Chris. Have you been in the lighthouse all this time? I was about ready to come looking for you. I've been exploring, Chris said. He shaded his eyes from the sun with his hand. It sure is bright out here. Chris, what's all over your hands? Exclaimed Maria. Chris looked at his hands. They were the color of red bricks. I guess it rubbed off the railings, he said. Railings? Asked Maria. Were you climbing those old stairs in the lighthouse? Chris nodded his head. It was a dumb idea. The stairs broke off from the wall when I was halfway up. If this guy hadn't come along, well, I hate to think what might have happened. How could you be so dumb? Maria said. But at least you didn't get hurt. Who helped you? Mr. Perkins, answered Chris. He was really nice. Look, squealed Yo-Yo. There are two more seals. She pointed to where two brown heads poked out above the swells in the water. I wish I could swim with them. It would be fun. Maybe it would, said Maria, but let's get off this jetty and go over to the beach. Maybe we can find some more pretty rocks for your collection. Chris, Maria, and Yo-Yo walked over to the beach. They left Yo-Yo with Mrs. Vargas and continued walking along the sand. I heard Dad say that sometimes you can find pieces of petrified wood washed up on the beach, said Chris. I'd sure like to find some. What does it look like? Asked Maria. It's gray with black streaks in it, and it's really hard. If you look close, you can see the wood grain, Chris said. Before long, they stopped at a spot covered by scattered rocks. Maria bent down to pick up a small stone. Chris, she asked, what was that guy's name at the old lighthouse? The one who helped you? John Perkins, replied Chris. Why? It's the same last name, Maria exclaimed. Last name? Chris asked with a puzzled look. What are you talking about? The graveyard, Maria said excitedly. Perkins is the name on the gravestone that's being cleaned up. Chris remembered. That's right. The gravestone says Charles Perkins. His name was John Perkins. Do you think he's the one who's cleaning it up? There's only one way to find out, said Maria. How? Let's go ask him. He still might be around the old lighthouse. Chris and Maria turned and raced back down the beach to the jetty and out to the lighthouse. But when they got there, John Perkins was gone.
The story you've heard today is a chapter of the Shoebox Kids, Book 12, Mystery of the Abandoned Lighthouse, written by Suzanne Grant Perdue and Grant Perdue, edited and created by Jerry D. Thomas, and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.